Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. So glad that you decided to tune in. Hey, we have a very, very, very special guest this afternoon. Catcher in the Dodgers organization, utility guy. He'll play wherever you put him. Simon Reid joins Dodgers Daily. Hey, Simon, I've enjoyed covering you all year long. So, hey, thanks for coming on in.
Thanks for having me, Casey.
Okay, super pumped about this. You know, being in the baseball industry for as long as I have, anytime that I see that a guy hits left-handed, throws right-handed, and then he catches, I'm like, okay, he had somebody in his background that knew the game of baseball pretty well, because, hey, that's the fastest way onto the field.
Yeah, I think when I was in high school, I want to say that was like the number one position type they looked at besides pitching. But actually growing up, I was a switch hitter till I was 12, and then I banged it and just went to left-handed. But, yeah, left-handed catcher, always been my thing.
Hey, got to back up. Sweet headset.
Thank
What is
you.
that? What is that? PlayStation? What is it?
It's a Scuff gaming headset. It's custom. I got some Dodger blue right here. My brother gave it to me for Christmas.
Fantastic. And by the way, you got Dodger blue because, hey, I know you went to McKinney Boyd, of which that's a program I'm very familiar with, that whole DFW Metroplex. Insanely great high school baseball. Yep. But you grew up in Southern California, Palos Verdes, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. So not only are you in the Dodgers organization, you are a Dodgers diehard.
Yeah, my parents have always been Dodger fans, especially my dad. My dad grew up in Pasadena, California, and his dad was just a huge Dodger fan. His brother, my Uncle Mike. So Dodger blue runs through the Reid family's veins. Every birthday, my birthday's in April, we would go to a Dodger game every birthday. Watching every playoff game on the TV, breaking stuff, yelling at the screen. But yeah, I just always loved being a Dodger fan. It's the best fan base in the world.
And I know you're going to love being a Dodger because you're that type of guy that loves just the team culture of things. You love being around your teammates, and you love just having those close relationships, which is exactly the way the Dodgers do it. So let's back up. Okay, your senior year there at McKinney Boyd, which is in the Dallas Metroplex. If you're not familiar with that area, you have all the Plano schools, which I think there's 1,000 of them, but you have Plano East and West are the two best ones. And you have all the Allen schools who are just unbelievably good. You have Frisco in that area. So that area of the DFW Metroplex is insanely competitive baseball. And, hey, your senior year, what a run you guys made. You beat the number 7 team, the number 8 team, then you beat the number 2 team, then you beat the number 1 team to qualify for the state tournament. Then you made the semifinals. That had to be a cool run.
No, it was that was some of the best baseball you'll ever see. It was so fun. The playoff structure was 2 out of 3 or a 3-game series, and unlike when I was playing in California, the high schools was just 1 game, one and done. But it was really cool. We had the 3-game series because the second round of playoffs and the third, fourth, and fifth, we lost the first game every single time. And then it's like, oh, gosh, what are we going to do? We actually thankfully had one of our D1 commit pitchers. His name is Jack Hagan. He's playing at UT Arlington. He was pitching game 2, and he was out the whole year, but he came back for playoffs. And he would go out there and just compete, and we ended up winning game 2. It always seemed that was the tightest game. And then game 3, we would roll out my friend Chase Peterson, who was our starting third baseman, who was up there literally throwing 78 to 81 sinker balls, and somehow we just ended up winning. There's a lot of good players that we ended up beating in that run. Like that year we played against Jordan Lawler, who just cracked the bigs, first rounder, Drew Romo. That Cy Ranch team we beat in the 5th round, they had their number 1 and 2 starters were the 36th pick and the 45th overall pick. And, you know, our senior class had a JUCO commit, D2 commit, and me an NAIA commit. So it was just like a magical run that, I mean, obviously I'll never forget it, and just memories for a lifetime with just a great group of guys. And I'm still connected with that team to this day. Some of my best friends.
Yeah, that Cy Ranch team was the number 1 team in the state of Texas. And, hey, they make everything bigger in Texas. So if you're ranked number 1 in anything, you're pretty darn good. And you mentioned all those guys on that team. Okay, your high school coach, Brooke Court, I know all about him. He grew up in the Oklahoma City area at a Catholic school called Bishop McGinnis, a team that's actually in the district that of the team that I've been the coach of forever here at Guthrie. So very familiar with Bishop McGinnis, familiar with your coach, Coach Court. I know your faith is one of the biggest parts of your life. So having him as your head coach, that had to be a really cool situation for him. Talk about his mentorship for you.
Yeah, I mean, I came in to brand new school, junior year, 3,000 students, and it was just a huge culture shock moving from the beach to the middle of Texas. And Coach Court took me in, open arms, and it was just a great experience. And yeah, Coach Court's the man. I want to say he's also a big Oklahoma State fan.
Yes.
I'm fairly certain. Yeah, he's kept it simple for us. Our probably the most classic Coach Court thing was when we would hit BP. Every day we would have the cones set up to when we would just force hitting the ball up the middle, and we would compete every single day. And every BP group would tally up points, and we just tried to make practice fun. And then obviously that brought our team a lot closer. And yeah, Coach Court, just great guy. And yeah, it was just a great experience at Boyd with him as the coach for me.
Okay, your brother Bailey. We said you grew up at Palos Verdes, which is the suburb of Los Angeles. Then you moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in high school. Then you decided to go to Westmont College, which is NAIA, and your brother was there at the time, Bailey. So that had to be cool. I'm sure that played, being a SoCal boy and then your brother being there, I'm sure that played a big factor in you choosing Westmont to be a Warrior, but talk about all that.
Yeah, so definitely in my recruiting process, moving states just in the middle of that was definitely difficult because grew up playing on the club teams in California and then going to Texas. So I think after my junior summer, I actually went back out to California to try and get recruited. And to be honest, I really didn't hit my growth spurt till my junior year. I was freshman year, I was 5'2", buck 20. I think sophomore year I was 5'5", and then I think junior year I was 5'9", 5'10", and then I am the same height I am now. So my senior year, but I really didn't get too many looks. I mean, some JUCOs would talk to me, but I only really had a D3 offer from a school called Wheaton College, and then Westmont gave me a non-scholarship offer. But Westmont's just such a great school with a great community, really small, and it was just a really good fit for me. And obviously, my brother Bailey going there, I knew what I was getting into, which really helped me out, and it was just one of the best decisions I've made. But it was almost like a no-brainer. But to be honest, I also just didn't have a ton of other options. But yeah, just being a Westmont Warrior was one of the best decisions ever made.
At Westmont College, you're a top 10. You left Westmont as a top 10 hitter of all time at that school, and you threw out 33% of all the runners that tried to steal against you. So what an incredible career you had. So talk about your time as a Warrior.
Yeah, that's a nice stat. I actually didn't know that stat about throwing out the runners. That's cool. Yeah, my freshman year went in there, and there was some tough competition to try and just get in the starting lineup. I had a pretty good fall, and then I ended up getting that start on opening day, and the opening day was super special. My whole family was there, and then Bailey ended up coming in and closing that game, and it was super dark. I literally couldn't see, and Bailey was in there throwing 94, 95, and we ended up getting the win there. But my freshman year, I kind of started off pretty slow. I think I started my Westmont career 1 for 17, and then after that, I kind of started to see the ball well and just started tearing it up. And then we got shut down for COVID that year. Our team was really good. I feel like every team in that year during COVID, everyone's team was super good. That's what all my friends say. But
it's like that fish that gets away, right? It's always the biggest one, right?
Exactly, yeah. But our squad that COVID year was really good. We definitely could have made a run at the World Series. But yeah, then came in next year. Sophomore year, we didn't really know what was going to happen. Team-wise, we definitely weren't as strong. We ended up making our regional, but ended up losing to the Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies. They ended up winning the whole thing. So always nice to lose to the team that won it all, which I guess is a plus. But yeah, then that sophomore year was just catching most of the time and hitting third. And I would just have hot streaks and cold streaks, but just got to keep those, lows shorter and hopefully not as low, and then put up some decent numbers. And then I really didn't get too many looks, I would say, till that like sophomore year range where obviously I had my brother's name to help me out, but I definitely put up some pretty elite numbers that sophomore year. And then that summer, I actually decided not to play summer ball. I went to Seattle, Washington. I trained at Driveline Baseball,
Nice.
which where I learned a ton. Learned a lot about just like how the swing works, how the body moves, and just how I could get better as a hitter. And definitely something getting drafted is obviously something I really wanted to do. But if I needed to do that, I just needed to hit the ball in the air more. Um, and that's something I learned how to do. And then go in my junior year fall. We always had a pro day in the fall, and I feel like that was really the first time I had scouts come and see me play and like talk to me. And there were maybe like three or four teams, Dodgers, maybe the Rays, and I ended up having a super good pro day. We played the Santa Barbara City College, the JUCO right next to us, and I had a great day. Went like 3 for 5 and hit a home run. And then in the BP was just dropping some nukes. It was pretty fun. Um, definitely had that adrenaline going, and it was a good day during BP. I ain't gonna lie. I've had bad days in BP where I feel like I can't even hit the ball at the infield, but it was a great day. Maybe the wind was blowing out. And then had some good throws down to second. So definitely right after that pro day, it was like, oh, dang, like that went really well. This might be an actual thing doing this pro ball thing. And then junior year starts, our NAI season starts really early compared
Hmm.
to the Division One season. We start like late January. And so, all the scouts weren't busy. So definitely knew that there was going to be a lot of teams there. They were texting me before, and my coach was talking to me, and I really didn't want to make it too big a thing, but it was definitely uh, it's hard to just know when there's teams watching you kind of solely for you, just because at the NAI level, there's not a ton of guys that have that pro talent. So like they were there to see me, and then we played LC State, Lewis and Clark State, really good team, really good arms, and I literally had my best game I've ever had as a Warrior. I went 4 for 5 with a homer, probably the farthest ball I've ever hit. And to be honest, when I've been talking to some guys about like their how they got drafted and how they got seen, and I think that opening day my junior year and that pro day my junior year are honestly probably what got me drafted. Just I did good at the right times, and then as that season went on, obviously I would get a lot more attention, and there would be a lot of like ups and downs. Like, oh, I feel like I was a prospect. I was super hot on the
Yeah.
charts, and then like no guys would come see me for a few weeks, and it was definitely super hard mentally. There was like a time where I was just struggling. It was like our worst team in our conference, and I had some really good talks with my coach and my dad, and it was just not really in my hands. It was up to the God's hands, and I just didn't matter what I did on the field. I just needed to be a good teammate and keep um, just working hard every single day. And I knew the results would come, and um, we ended up making the World Series my junior year, our first time in program history. It was pretty
Wow.
epic,
Nice.
and shout out to the Warriors. They won the whole World Series this year, actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they won the ship this
Nice.
year. Last year in the NAIA, they're D2 now, so they won't
Nice.
be going to Lewiston anymore. But yeah, then the Westmont career finished just that summer. But yeah, it was a great 3 years, 2.5 years of baseball. It was super fun, and I'll cherish it forever.
So that driveline experience in Seattle, is that where you met Rob Hill?
That is not actually. Rob was a Westmont Warrior. I'm not sure if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Oh, there you go. Rob Hill was a Westmont Warrior for 2 or 3 years. But Rob was roommates with my brother Bailey at Westmont.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, my brother was a sophomore. I think Rob was a senior, and they were roommates. So my brother actually got married this past October, and Rob was a groomsman in my brother's wedding. So me and Rob are super tight.
Yeah, that makes baseball. Baseball makes the world small. It's amazing just the tight community of baseballs. Hey, we'll get back to Rob Hill here in a minute, but I want you to take us through draft day. Your brother Bailey, he's in professional baseball. He was at Westmont, like you just said. He was the roommate of Rob Hill, the Dodgers minor league pitching coordinator. So super successful. I'm sure you looked up to him your whole life, but he didn't get drafted, and you did. So for your family, when they heard your name called, that had to be a really cool moment, didn't it?
Right. No, it was amazing. Bailey was going to get drafted his junior year, but he actually tore his lat, and then he ended up going undrafted. And then he was one of the senior signs during the COVID year, so only the 5-round draft, which was still just an amazing opportunity for him and an amazing feeling for our family. But I saw Bailey sitting on the couch waiting for that phone call, and it was just like so hard and heartbreaking to watch. And so just like seeing that, I was just like going into the draft week, I had no expectations. Like, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. And if it did, then that's amazing. Because just being an NAIA guy, you really don't have much leverage. But yeah, it was the second day of the draft. Woke up to 2 missed calls from Tom Myers, who is the area scout for the Dodgers. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I call him back immediately. And we talk on the phone, and he's like, hey, dude, like, I want to let you know, like, just keep your phone ready for that, like, kind of 8 to 10 round range. I'm like, all right, sounds good, man. And then I just wanted to go about my day. I went up to the cage and hit with my buddy who was in town. And then my mom is obviously like, Simon, you need to get back here right now. Like, I don't want to miss this. I'm like, chill, Mom, chill. And then I go back, like, take a shower, and then I go downstairs. It's like the round 8 starts, and then hadn't heard back from Tom, and then he ends up calling me again. He's like, hey, dude, like, we're not totally sure what's happening, but just stay ready. I'm like, all right, sounds good. Then like round 9 rolls around, and then Rob Hill calls me. He's like, hey, dude, just I need to talk to Tom. Just want to make sure that, like, you're down to do this. Just, keep your phone ready. We really don't know yet. I'm like, all right, sounds good. Then that call happens again in the 10th round. And then the Dodgers pick is coming up in the 10th round. And then I look down on my phone to a text from Rob with 3 purple hearts. And it says, welcome to the family.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a text. It wasn't a phone call. So I look at it, and I look at my dad, and like, I'm just like racing on the inside, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
So I just look at this, and I put my phone down, and I look at the next pick, and then they're like, the Dodgers look Simon Reid. And it was just like, it's on my Instagram. It's the first post on my Instagram. And my mom is just like in shock hearing her little boy's name. And then me and my dad are just instantly in tears. It was just the craziest experience. Probably top 5, top 2, top 1. I don't even know. Moment of my life, man. It was so special. My best friend Adam from Westmont, my roommate, was there too, and it was just so amazing. But yeah, draft day, that was a trip. That was super fun.
And how cool was it to have that link to Rob Hill?
Oh yeah, it was so special that someone that I know personally could give me that great news. It just made it way cooler, I would say, for sure.
Okay, so 2022, you finish your short season there at the complex. You start this year at the complex. You get moved to Rancho in June of this year, which on 2 fronts, that had to be really cool. First of all, you're from SoCal, so you knew all about Rancho, so you got to play, in Southern California, which is really cool to begin with. And then also, just the jump to affiliated baseball. That's
Right.
also a really cool moment. It's almost like getting drafted again. So
Yeah.
take us through that moment when you got that phone call.
Right. Yeah, this season was kind of a trip. I started off on the IL actually, with a broken hand in spring training, and then started to ramp up um, in that May month and got some reps in extended and some games in Arizona, and then uh, Matt McGrath, one of our player development coordinators, brought me to his office and he's like, "Hey, dude, like you've been doing good. We're gonna send you Rancho." And I was like, "Oh, dude, let's freaking go. That's awesome." And I was super excited. And because I know I have so many connections in California, so um, ended up getting out there that first week, and it was, dude, my first game was hilarious, man. I ended up facing first guy I faced was Robbie Snelling. I think he's like top 100 prospect, lefty for the Padres. First at bat, smoke like a line drive at Griffin Dorshing, the first baseman. He makes like a sick
OSU
pick.
boy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I didn't figure you would know him, and
Yeah.
he makes like a sick play, and I'm like, dang, I almost had a double on my first at bat, and then definitely got the jitters going, and I think I struck out my next six at bats. Um, and I was just getting way too much in my head. My parents were there. I was like, "Oh crap, this is a lot." And then I ended up figuring it out after that. But yeah, that was a super fun time playing in Rancho, and it was so special because I have so many family members and friends from Palos Verdes and from Santa Barbara at Westmont that could come to my games. So it felt like every week I had like a close friend or family member wanting to come to one of my games, and it was just super special to play in front of people that I love, and it was just Rancho was just a great spot for me personally to be at. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Kendall George he was a 2023 draft pick. He was from the Houston area. I know that's about 4 hours south of where you went to high school. Did you know anything about him in high school?
Did not. I mean, I played down in Houston one time, but no, I
Mm-hmm.
really hadn't heard much about him. Also, yeah, Dylan Campbell, Kendall George are both
Yeah.
Houston guys, and they got drafted this year. But no, actually hadn't heard of them or met them. But yeah, I maybe I'll hit them up during the offseason.
Yeah. So guys like Jake Geloff, Joe Vitrano, East Coast guys. Geloff,
Hmm.
he went to school at Virginia. Vitrano went to BC. So I don't even know if they've ever even been to California before. Here you are, this local California boy. Were you
Yeah.
kind of the quasi, hey, the tour guide when they got to California?
Yeah, my roommate or housemate, Sam Mongelli, me and him
Yeah.
live together, who's also an East Coast guy.
Sacred Heart.
Yeah, I showed him Raising Cane's for the first time, showed him an In-N-Out Burger for the first time, and he was fired up when he put those animal fries in his mouth. He thought it was so good. And I was like, "Dude, you've been missing out, man. You've been missing out your whole life because I've been going to In-N-Out since I was like 5 years old."
Warm climates, warm days to play baseball with, and In-N-Out burgers. You certainly can't beat that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're an instructor right now. You're in the middle of Arizona. How old are you right now, Simon?
22.
22-year-old young man sitting in the middle of Arizona, playing for the Dodgers. You know, life can't get much better, can it?
No, it's pretty sweet, blessed opportunity for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you're at instructor, you're sitting in Arizona at the complex.
Mhm.
So other than that part of it, tell us what your off season is going to entail.
Right. Definitely going to be working on the swing a lot. Definitely want to find a way where I can get some more adjustability and find a way to just cover the plate more and just get the bat in the ball and strike out less. I guess that's the name of the game. But I'll be going home to McKinney in a few weeks and just going to be grinding there, grinding the nutrition, grinding the weights. Definitely want to come back to spring training around 205, 208. I'm right around like 198, 200 pounds right now. And also during this off season, just love to reconnect with family and friends when I can, just because I'm so busy for that 6 months during the season. And yeah, so those are the biggest things. Work on the swing, gain some muscle, and hang out with friends and family. So that's the plan.
You're pretty new to your professional career, but you can tell got a great head on your shoulders here and very good perspective. So give me some things that you think that you're good enough at right now. Hey, let's say that they called you to become a major leaguer tomorrow. What things do you think you're good enough at right now to be a consistent major leaguer? What things do you think you have to work on the most?
Right. Definitely things I need to work on. I mean, obviously, you can always get better at hitting. That's the hardest thing to do in sports. There's nothing like hitting a 90-mile-an-hour slider down at your back foot. I mean, that's the hardest thing to do. But so definitely just like becoming a more complete hitter against elite level arms is something that has taken some time to get used to. Definitely making that jump from small college ball to pro ball was definitely tough, but it's
especially the everydayness of it. You know, in NAIA, you'll see an elite arm, but then have 3 or 4 days before you see another one, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we would go doubleheader Friday, Saturday, and then in pro ball, obviously, you're playing every day. But also it's the pro ball schedule. It giveth and taketh, because when you're in that slump, it's like, oh, you got to go back there out there and grind. But then when you're doing good, it's like you're seeing it super good, and then you get the next day, it's basically just like it just feels like the next at bat, like nothing's changed. And when you're locked in, you're locked in. And yeah, but definitely something I feel like I could bring to the table is just bring a good attitude, be a good teammate, and help the pitchers call a good game. That's definitely something I can always control, is being well prepared to beat hitters and give my pitchers confidence to do that. And just be a good guy, I guess. That's something you can always control. So yeah.
Awesome deal. Let's have a light moment here. I got some questions to ask you. You ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite dessert is half-baked ice cream. First of all, what the heck is that? And now that you're in the organization, does the organization, of course, the Dodgers are huge on nutrition. Do you have to sneak around to eat your half-baked ice cream, or do they let you do that?
Half-baked ice cream, it's a Ben & Jerry's flavor. So it's half vanilla, half chocolate. It's got like caramel in there with like Reese's and peanut butter cups. Basically just a big jambalaya of sugary stuff. I don't always eat ice cream, trust me. But since I got the Dodgers, I've definitely taken nutrition more seriously. So I'm not eating ice cream too much. But sometimes I guess you might need a pint or two.
Okay. All right. So your favorite music artist is Morgan Wallen. So what is your favorite song of his?
Oh, I gotta go. This might be a little too mainstream. I would say Seven Summers. Seven Summers. It was the first Morgan Wallen song I heard, actually. And I think that was the song that kind of made him really blow up. Seven Summers and Chasing You. Those are the two favorite Morgan Wallen songs.
So your favorite TV show is Friends. What's your favorite episode? Everybody has a favorite episode of Friends.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think I've seen Friends like front to back 3 times, and then it's always on TV. So if it's ever on, I'll just throw it on. Well, I don't know the actual name of the episode.
Describe it for us.
Right. I would say the one in London, I would say, when Monica and Chandler are sneaking around, and then like Joey's going in and out of the room, and then Monica's under the covers. That's peak Friends right there. So
all right, very good. Okay, so we mentioned that you threw 33% of your runners out in college. You obviously are learning how to hit the ball in the air a lot more as a professional. Lots of power potential. So what's funner for you, hitting a home run or throwing a runner out?
Oh, it's got to be hitting a pump. I mean, hitting homers is the most fun thing to do for sure, especially when you get into one. Nothing beats just a flush contact pull side Jimmy. But I mean, throwing out runners is pretty fun too, especially when they're like a fast runner. But the two most fun things for me to do, definitely. But nothing beats hitting homers, I would say.
Especially when you hit that home run into the California sky and you're looking back at the mountains and you're like, holy cow, this is cool, right?
No, it's a dope feeling for sure.
And kind of funny, I asked Johnny DeLuca a similar question. Hey, what's funner to hit a home run? Hit a home run or steal a base, because he steals so many bases. kind of like you, like, well, it's not even close hitting a home run. Hey, stealing bases is fun, but it's definitely hitting home runs. Okay, so last fun question here. All right, what is your best shot ever? Of course, you like to golf. That's one of the things you like to do in your free time. So, okay, best round of golf and the best shot that you hit in your best round of golf.
I'll say this. I am not a good golfer.
Okay.
I love golfing, but I am not very good. I only picked it up like 2 years ago. I can maybe break 100. I can maybe shoot like 98 on a great day. And
depending on how good the eraser is on the end of the pencil.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say some of my favorite golf shot I've ever made was when I was at Westmont. We would go to the course and we would play 4v4 scramble, and whoever would lose would have to buy the other team their dinner on the way back. So you had a whole crowd, I think the hole kind of got like blocked up in front of us. So we all played the like 17th hole together, and we're all on the green, 7 other guys watching. And I swear I hit like this 50-foot putt with this insane arc. And I just I hit it and I start walking, and everyone's just like, because I'm not very good.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, no way you just hit that, Simon. But yeah, that was a great putt. I think I maybe made like 5 birdies in my life, but I'll never forget my first birdie either. That was tight, but definitely that one putt was very memorable.
Were you nervous on the birdie putt for your first birdie putt ever?
Oh, so nervous. It was a gimme though. I think it was a
good.
straightaway like 370 par 4, drove like 260 down the middle, 8 iron, 5 feet, maybe 3 feet, tap in. I was hitting a blue Captain America ball. And so I took a picture after with it. Big smile on my face.
Birdie putts have to be within 6 inches. Otherwise, I am absolutely choking. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, so last thing I got here, Simon, this has been such a joy for me to get to meet you. I've covered you all year long and certainly enjoyed that. Okay, but, hey, you have the great message for kids. You weren't the big guy in high school, kind of like Gavin Stone.
Right.
Gavin Stone was told he was too small his whole life. 5'2" coming into high school. Big time high school baseball. You just kept grinding. Then you went to the NAIA school out of high school and college. And so, you just kept plugging to chase your dream. So you're just like every other kid out there, So
Yeah.
What is your message for them to become like you, to become a professional baseball player someday?
Yeah, I would say control the controllables, attitude, effort. That's all you can give. And just be thankful for the game, I would say. There's a lot of external noise that can dictate your mind on and off the field. And as long as you're just playing your hardest and having fun, then good things will happen. That's my
awesome
message
deal
for the kids. Yeah.
Awesome deal, Simon. Hey, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully this is not the last time we talk. And best of luck in your instructs, and then for the rest of your season, make sure and get enough R&R. I know sometimes when you're younger, you like to just keep going and going and going, but hey, make sure you get your R&R. And I hope you enjoy seeing your family back there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So thank you so much for joining Dodgers Daily.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. Thanks for having me.